Hey everybody, hope we are all well today. Welcome back to another Sunday Sessions video. Obviously to anybody new to the channel, anybody who might not be familiar with what this is, it's pretty much just where myself and Luke will run through the foreign exchange market, just showing you our bias and our outlook for this coming trading week. Obviously we do this with the hope that you can use the information provided to actually aid you in your own analysis, because of course here at LAGFX we always recommend and strongly suggest that a top-down analysis is completed every single weekend to ensure that your bias has the best edge it possibly can, to ensure that your knowledge and view of the market is as up-to-date as possible. Therefore, this video is pretty much created with the purpose of helping you do that, giving you that foresight into the market, just to make your trading life in this coming week a lot easier and give you the best edge possible to actually become profitable. So I'm going to be starting off here on the Euro US dollar market. This is something anybody who has been following the channel will know that I pretty much always start on this. This is the one market that I literally trade and analyze so much. If you want to know the reason why, I can probably dive into that one video. Make sure to let me know. Regardless, starting off here on the higher time frames, just to remember what I want to see price do. So we're working within a huge impulse within the market. We've recently had the breaks higher, so this is a bullish correction. This bullish correction, I am hoping and expecting, has the purpose of trading higher into one of those two supply zones where we'll reverse, continue lower. Now, in order for this bullish correctional wave to continue and remain, we must of course see continued bullishness. In order to see that, we want to see the tap from some demand zones. As of right now, there are two demand zones I'm focused on, A and B. The first one we saw price tap into. We were potentially looking at some form of entry inside of there. It's not been delivered. We see prices now fallen through. So I'm now expecting price to tap and reverse from this lower zone. Now, I was actually preparing myself for this to happen. I can't lie. I was preparing for the fact that price would continue bearish down in this region after the liquidation when that low was created. So I have been updating people to actually look bearish inside of this market, to try and catch those positions. And then we see on the right side here, there is a few supply zones that I'm hoping to see price tap into. Now, in the trading week that's just gone, over the past few days, we've already had a couple of reactions. I really like the fact that we've reacted into a clear buy to sell inside of this region, where we've seen a clear, institutionally controlled reversal. Why is that? Well, that is because we've seen this region where we tapped the zone. We had a clear distribution where we saw liquidity built up at this region, the liquidation of that level, the break of structure to the downside right after this point. Okay, and then once we were delivered with the break of structure, we could probably even look back into this region to figure out if an entry would have been delivered. If we go down something like the 3 minute, okay, well, there's actually a few regions where it could react, but we notice that we have a major buy to sell inside of that region that is yet to be mitigated, and we also have one inside of here, either of which could be mitigated or price may not even follow them, but we shall see. Okay, no reaction to the first. We've fallen through that one. We'll see if we get a full reaction to this second one. Okay, we see the wick starts there. We may not. Absolutely fine if not, because what you're probably going to notice is right there, I have marked out this supply zone because it's representing this overall buy to sell in the market. Okay, as we zoom out, where you can see, you know, obviously on this time frame it's quite clear what that is. It is a very clear buy to sell. Okay, we have the tap of that zone, we have the continuation lower. Now looking inside of that tap, if we go to the 1 minute, it's quite nice to see a level of liquidity built up, liquidity cleared, price break structure. Even on the lower time frames, if we really zoom in inside of this, we've had a level of liquidity built, liquidity cleared, the break of structure of that low. Once we've had the break of structure, price has traded back up to give us that retest where we could have found an entry really in the market. So looking inside of here, I guess we would have identified the last buy to sell region. Obviously, the reason we always have a bigger stop loss is to account for spread and account for moments like this. I always add a minimum of 1 pip, so that would take it up to 2. okay, just like that. So we would have been safe from that, and then I'd have the take profit, or at least partial, down at this previous low, which you see we would have ended up running a 20 IRR trade. Now, we're getting caught up on what has happened rather than what is going to happen. Price has continued trading lower, okay, but we're now making a run higher. Now, the reason why I've identified these two zones is because now that price is making that move higher and beginning to invalidate this fractal structure, I'm looking for price to actually target these two zones on the screen a bit higher up in order to tap them and actually continue trading lower in the shorter term. Now, if price instead decides that it wants to come and invalidate this high and actually make us a move higher, we would then start looking at these zones higher for a potential price tap, a potential entry. So we'll pop an alert above there so we know if or when price comes that high. But in the shorter term, the idea being price will trade us up to tap into one of these two supply zones where we'll see the reaction and move lower into this demand zone. That is lower down here, around that. I did not mean to remove that. Edit. We see 1.05526. So that is my main target in the market. Is for price to actually come down and trade into that. Because longer term we'll be able to edge in on longer term buys, because obviously the difference from this zone to the top of the market is some 500 pips. So if price does follow the bias and reverse there, 500 pips worth of leeway is huge. Okay, now what I mean by that is fair enough, we may not get involved in the market as soon as price reverses from here, but price can even move 50 pips away. We can still get an entry, and price is still 450 pips away from the final target. Now, in an example like this, in the shorter term, obviously there's not as much leeway, there's less room for error, and therefore that is why I usually stick to the higher time frames. Anyway, that's pretty much the outlook on the euro to the US dollar. Let's head on over to dollar yen, where we can see that what I wanted to happen is happening pretty perfectly, where after we had the tap into this major demand zone, we have seen the reversal. We have now been given proper confirmation of a clear break of structure to the upside because this major protected high has been broken. We can see this whole time price has been reacting to demand zones as we've traded higher, and now I can expect that a pullback may be due some point in this market, and therefore if we look inside of here, that is where we'd start to identify any demand zones that remain. Now clearly we have a sell to buy inside of here, price mitigates that, we mitigate into there. Okay, so the majority of this around this region has already been mitigated. I would argue other than, let's just follow through. There's a potential zone in here. Let's go a bit higher on the time frames yet. So we can use that candle in that region. And then as we follow up, honestly, that's probably the only main region I'd look at, whether it be that right there or this zone around here. Somewhere in this region, I think is fair to say. If we wanted to just take the overall zone, of course, it would be this entire sell to buy region. I'm going to actually refine that down to this. Either way, this zone pretty much starts at the region of 133.15. So we'll type that in with the expectation that we're going to see price pull back down into this before reversing and continuing higher. If we just look onto the lower time frames, okay, so is there anywhere we can see on this lower time frame that price could tap into? Right, well, fair enough. I'm actually going to be looking inside of this right here, which is going to be a short-term outlook for that 134.0, bang on 134 level. We may see the reaction continuation higher. If not, I want to see price actually move lower into that 133.15 zone with the expectation that price is actually just going to continue trading bullish for a very long time. So if we can get involved in positions now, I think that will most definitely help us profit longer term. Remembering that if price is going to continue bullish from this region, we have three major zones inside of here that we can identify. This one is at 128.735. So in the shorter term, obviously these two. Longer term, we may see a large pullback down into here. Either way, if we can get involved in buys, into this market from one of these zones, I think we can profit from buys in the long term for a long time. Regardless, that is pretty much going to conclude my analysis for the day and conclude my section. Do not worry though, there's more analysis to come. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you over to Luke, who's going to pick a few of his favourite pairs for this coming week. So sit tight and get ready to see what Luke's looking for in this coming week to also, once again, aid your analysis and aid your trading.
How are you getting on, people? I hope you guys have enjoyed James's analysis there. What I'm going to do now is run over some of the pairs that I am looking at trading this coming week, giving you my zones and areas that we can look to potentially trade from and work with. So you'll see on screen I have the Great British Pound to the US dollar market. We are actually currently in a position at the moment. This was a position that we placed on Friday, and I am expecting price to take profit very soon. The reason why my take profit is set at this point, as this is just below the last structural high within this bearish impulsive wave that took us lower. Now, what am I wanting to see price do moving forward? Well, I'm wanting to see our take profit be achieved, as I say, but I actually want to see it continue in this bullish momentum, taking us into one of three supply zones. So if you guys haven't highlighted these supply zones out, by all means do so now. Pause the video and mark them out on your own charts, just so you've got them as areas to work with and potentially trade from. But ultimately, as I say, I am wanting to see this bullish wave take us higher and past my take profit target and into one of these zones. Now, the reason why my take profit is set there is because we can guarantee that even if we are still to follow bearishness, price could come as high as this point and still be following the structure and the laws of bearish structure. Now, obviously, I'm led to believe that price is actually putting in its correction and will trail us into one of these supply zones here before taking its next higher time frame impulsive wave. So if I just get a path tool out, you will see exactly what I'm wanting to see price do. So trail into one of these as an example, and then go on to set its next impulsive wave lower, breaking this structural low here, as that would be following the laws of bearishness. Now, are there any ways that we can get involved in some buys before we sell? Absolutely. What we would need to do is go down to the fractal structure of this impulsive wave that's taken us higher, and we'd need to look for any candles that have been left unmitigated. So I can't really see anything clearly there. This is tapped into this is tapped into this, but nothing is tapped into that. So we could actually say that this here, this sell to buy region has been left unmitigated, and price could come down, tap into this, clear, and grab more demand essentially, and then trade price higher. So this could be an area that we could look out for. So highlight this zone out for yourself. So this could be somewhere that we could look to potentially buy from and continue trading price higher. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw up some screenshots of the befores, durings, and afters of this position. I did actually close my entire trade here, and I think it was for, let's just double check, I think it's for like 98 pips. Yeah, 98 pips I took away with that, which gave me a lovely risk to reward return of a 1 to 6. So with me risking 2% of my equity, I was looking at taking back 12% from my trade. Now, as I say, I've highlighted this zone. Highlight it out for yourself. This could be a place that we could look to buy from. Now, you'll see from the screenshots that I've highlighted and put on screen how detailed the analysis is and how precise the entry points are. This is what we do in the VIP chats, and this is how thorough we are with what we provide to our clients. We want to give you guys as much content as we physically can. So it's not just about giving you trades that you could potentially profit from, but it's also about giving you the analysis and the reasoning behind why we're doing what we're doing. This way you are able to learn whilst you potentially profit and make money with the LAGFX team. But yeah, that is my bias for this market. I'm wanting to see bullishness continue, trade us into one of three supply zones, and then actually continue its next or generate its next impulsive wave taking us lower. We can use this as a place to potentially buy from, and then obviously we have these three zones here as well that you should have all highlighted out as places to either to take profit from buys, but also look to place sells from. Now moving over to XAU USD. Evidently, this is a bearish market. It has been trading bearish for some time. I actually predicted this entire move lower. We now want to see price come back up, put in a higher time frame correction, tap into one of two supply zones, and then continue bearish. So what we need to see here in order to look to buy before we sell is we want to see this structural high break, as this went on to set the lowest low that this entire impulsive wave has created. So this is a structural high. Once price is broken above this, we can then wait for a pullback into a demand zone, where we can then look to buy into this market and take profit somewhere around this potential sell zone. So actually, if I just have a little look, you'll notice that there is a last sell to buy candle highlighted here, which is perfect, as this could be a place that we could actually look to enter. So what I'm going to do is mark out this zone for you all and mark it out for yourself. So we're looking at 18.22 to 18.28. So it's about a 60 pip zone, but obviously we can look to get involved in this market once we have a penetration, good signs of rejection, and some bullishness from this zone. So we want to see price break structure, pull back into this demand zone, and then that is when we look to get involved, as long as we have the confirmation in order to do so. So if you haven't done, highlight this zone out for yourself. This could be an area to look to buy from. And then obviously we can use this sell zone as a place to take profit from our buy positions and then potentially sell from. So if we just get out a long position, say that we did enter here, stop loss just below the zone, take profit just below the potential sell zone, we're still walking away with a 1 to 11 risk reward ratio, and that is without fully refining our position. This is on a 1 hour time frame, so I could probably get a 15 and 5 minute entry, really refining my entry. So we could be walking away with 21 RR plus. But yeah, this is my bias for XAU USD. So definitely looking to be a bull in this market before I then look to sell longer term. Okay. Headed over to the Great British Pound to the Japanese Yen. This is another pair that I've been analysing as of recent. We are seeing price react very well to these demand zones, and price is, or now seems to be, putting in that next impulsive wave, taking us higher. So price has put in the initial impulsive wave, corrected itself, and now we are seeing the next impulsive wave take place. So as I say, I want to see this bullishness continue, trade us into this zone where we can then look to close those buy positions and then sell longer term, trading us beneath this higher time frame structural low. To be safe, we would set our take profit just above, as this would guarantee a take profit achieved. And then with our stop loss, we'd have this just above the zone or just above the peak that's created when the reversal takes place. So definitely looking to buy into this market, highlight this out as an area to close those buy positions, and also an area to look to sell from, okay? Now finally moving over to the USD CAD, this pair has just recently tapped into a supply zone that I highlighted out, and I think I showcased in the last Sunday sessions video, but I've definitely provided some analysis for it in the group chats. Price tapped in, price has shown great signs of rejection, it's broken structure to the downside, which confirms to us that the corrective wave that took us into this zone has concluded, and the next impulsive wave taking us lower is underway. What I did then is I looked for an area that had been left unmitigated, i.e. this. We had a last buy to sell region. Price came down, traded us back into this, as you can see, and then has gone on to trade us lower in the market. So we could have placed short positions here. I'll be completely honest with you. I was too busy looking at other pairs. I was too busy placing positions on this and getting re-entries for the clients. So I didn't actually place anything on here, but the setup was there. And then obviously we can have our take profit set at the swing low here. And as you can see, this gives us a brilliant risk reward return of a 1 to 17. So moving forward, now coming into the new trading week, I do want to look to get involved in this market. I just need to find a good area to get involved from. So again, if we just go down on time frames and we try and look for any areas that have been left unmitigated. So looking here, there's not really any clear signs of an entry. Price looks to be tapping into these. So maybe we could see over a reversal from here. But realistically, I'm not too sure where we could get an entry. Let's go down to the 1 minute time frame and see if we can find anything else. So I suppose there is this that we could potentially look to trade from. Yeah, I mean, it looks like this is in the process of being tapped into. Everything else looks to have been mitigated. So maybe here, so we could maybe see the price trail up, tap into this price, and then trade us lower. But yeah, I am wanting to look to get involved in sell positions on this market this coming week. So if you are looking to trade USD CAD, look to place short positions on this market. So that is going to conclude my segment of this Sunday Sessions video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have done, leave a like on the video. All the support you guys provide is very much appreciated. And if you aren't involved in the Learning Lounge group chat or any of our VIP services, I would highly recommend to get involved. Whether you're a beginner with Forex or someone who's quite advanced, the Learning Lounge group chats and the VIP chats offer services that cater to absolutely everyone. Now, as I say, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and we will catch you all in the next one.